Today we are going to talk about what is it that makes a wedding planner or industry partner, like a vendor, a luxury partner. What is it that takes that? So we're super excited to dive into it.
If you crave luxury but need guidance, then stay tuned for magic. Welcome to Wedding Tips and Tales with TS Wed, the podcast where we unveil the secrets to crafting the perfect luxury wedding. Join us for expert advice and insider tips that will make your special day unforgettable. Let's make your wedding dreams come true together.
Hi everyone, welcome to Wedding Tips and Tales with TS Wed. My name is Taryn.
I'm Dani.
And we are the dynamic duo behind Taryn Stark Wyant Event Planning and Design. We facilitate luxury destination weddings worldwide, and we are super excited to be with you today because we have an exciting topic. But before we do, Miss Danielle, what are you drinking?
Excellent question.
You don't know what you're drinking?
Wine. I'm
Good,
drinking
good,
wine.
good, good.
I have not tasted it, and it's certainly definitely wine.
It's definitely wine.
Definitely red
That is a
wine, in
red
fact.
wine
Yeah, it's a
from
red wine.
Oregon,
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
very good. Mine is a Viognier, also from Oregon, because we are shooting from Oregon today. So thank you so much for joining us, and cheers, cheers. Really good at this. You're doing great. All right.
I want to do this.
So recently, I went to an industry event, and that is what prompted this idea of the conversation. Recently, I went to an industry event, and the question was asked to the panel at the front, what would you do to help elevate the industry in this city towards more of a luxury experience for weddings? And the truth of the matter is that the panelists didn't really have an answer. They didn't have like a firm and clear answer of how they could elevate their own brand towards luxury, or if they already felt that they were luxury and they were marketing themselves as luxury, what could they do for the industry as a whole
Sure.
to market to this up and coming luxury clientele, because the city is an up and coming city and it does have a lot of opportunity to
And what
service
city are we
luxury
talking about?
weddings. We are talking about the city of Raleigh,
Yeah.
North Carolina. And there is, of course, especially since 2020, but like there's a huge influx in the Raleigh Triangle of a lot of Gen Z or younger millennials who are coming in to work tech, who are working gaming, who are working programming, and so they are making a lot of money. And so there is an opportunity for the luxury wedding industry in the Raleigh area, and yet there doesn't seem to be a tremendous foundation in the wedding industry for a luxury market yet, and there should be.
Well, it's just not attracting luxury clients.
Correct. Correct. Because it's not necessarily a destination location,
Right.
except for that the luxury clients are there.
Mm.
They are there, but the industry is in a season of leveling up. And that makes me really excited because my family just moved to Raleigh. And so I'm really excited as somebody that has been entrenched in the luxury market for a number of years now, going, oh my gosh, look, like there are clients for our brand here and for what we do here. But how do we market that? Like how do we get like, because there are some great, incredible vendors in the Raleigh area and great, incredible venues, one of which may be up and coming, and so we'll chat on that a little bit later. But there is a lot of opportunity there. And yet when the panelists were asked about how do you establish yourself in the luxury market, and then once you've established yourself in the luxury market, how do you then help bring others up around you to make the whole city like lend itself well to the luxury
Right.
market? There wasn't an answer, and so I was really inspired to kind of dive into it ourselves because it's an amorphous term right now. So many people are saying, oh well, I'm a luxury photographer, I'm a luxury planner, I'm a luxury floral designer.
And
What does that mean?
It's mostly, I mean, sometimes that phrasing could just be used to charge more.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. It's a great term for marketing. It really is. It's a great term for marketing. But if you are a newly engaged couple and you're hearing, oh, well, there are 15 luxury wedding planners that I'm considering in Raleigh, how do you know which ones are actually luxury versus those that are being intentional with their marketing verbiage?
Right. Sure.
So I thought very deeply about this, and I came up with three things. The three things that I came up with were quality, content, and confidence. And so we thought we'd talk about that today. So if you are purporting to be a luxury wedding industry professional, the first thing you need to have is the quality to back it up.
Right.
What does that look like?
I mean, the quality can be both in the structural form of the events, right? Like that you have events that have been quality events, but that also looks like, I think, more obviously for uh, couples looking to hire somebody is that you have reviews
Yeah.
that speak to your luxury, that speak to the level of service, because luxury isn't just the amount of money spent. It isn't just perfection. It's a luxury, it's a level of service that is above and beyond. Um, so I think that's going to be like some of the quality markers that someone can look for when they're looking at it. Because, anyone can say, oh my gosh, we had a lovely wedding. They were great. You want to look for reviews that are a little bit more than the surface. Everything was great reviews, right?
Right.
Something that's a little bit deeper than that. When you're looking for something that's a little bit more luxury.
Right, right. And I think that a lot of that really does lend itself well into the second thing, which is content. And when I'm listening to this panel, one of the panel speakers said, well, it doesn't really matter if you're published or not. Like that is not indicative of whether or not you provide a luxury service. And I both agreed and disagreed with that statement. Because the fact of the matter is that you can produce a luxury product without ever submitting your product for publication. And so you can, in fact, be a luxury wedding vendor that has never.
But why wouldn't you?
Correct.
Okay.
But you can be that person. Maybe you hate being in the spotlight.
Yeah,
maybe you aren't interested in that kind of attention. Maybe you take a very limited number of weddings a year, and so you don't want a high level of inquiries, like things of that nature. That's true. But to your point, I don't think that the norm is to fall within that. I think that being picked up by publications, any publications, even if they're considered like maybe not as noteworthy.
They're not all Vogue, right?
Yeah,
Not
they're
every
exactly
publication is Vanity Fair or Vogue. So yeah.
Exactly. So like if you're working with somebody who's been featured in Loverly, for example, we've recently been featured in Loverly, and so we who do luxury and ultra luxury weddings, we don't tip our nose up at Loverly or something comparable and go, ew, like that's like well below the New York Times, which we've also been featured in.
Right.
But being featured, it shows that from an objective point of view, people that are not connected with you, they're not your clients, they are not the vendors who you hire. But
they're also not connected to the client, so they're not like emotionally invested in that wedding.
Exactly. Completely independent specialists in their field go, that is a sensational wedding.
That we want to showcase.
And we want to showcase that because we want to do more sensational weddings like that. Right. That matters because it proves that you are curating a quality whatever it is, a quality floral design, a quality planning experience, a quality photograph, like
also, and not just yes to all of that, but I think more to the point of content too, is that like luxury is not static.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are being picked up for publication, like publications do not put something out there that has already been done.
Correct.
Right? There might be elements, of course, right? It's another green wedding, whatever. But they're looking for something that's new and innovative and that is going to attract and keep engagement high.
Right.
And so just like, there's certainly classy and old school luxury elements, but those brands didn't just stop in the 50s and never make anything new ever again, right? The reason why they're still luxury is because they keep producing, they keep innovating, they keep new and on the forefront of everything. And so when you're looking at what is being published, it's not just that, oh, it was pretty.
Oh, it's not just that it was high quality, it's also that it was innovative.
Right.
And that lends itself well to luxury and ultra luxury. Like you're not doing cookie cutter weddings. You're not taking a wedding where somebody goes, oh my gosh, this wedding from Style Me Pretty is everything I want it to be. Please recreate this, which people do. Like people do that. They will copy paste a wedding because that's what a client will ask for.
Oh my gosh, do you remember, tail really quickly, we had two clients. We had a client whose wedding we did 2019, 2018. And then some 5 years later, her sister got engaged. And they hired us to do their wedding again. And while that is a much longer story for another time, the long and short of it is the sister came to us and said, my sister, the 2018, 2019 bride's wedding was beautiful. That's exactly what I want to do.
Please do that again at the same venue.
Same island, same venue.
Same vendors.
Same colors.
We want the same photographer. We want the same floral designer.
Right.
We loved it. Everyone loved it. Everyone said it was the best thing that they've ever experienced and that they've ever been to. We would like you to copy paste.
And we said no.
We hard said no. And that was a hard conversation
Yeah.
because they were really committed to it.
Yeah.
And yet, the fact of the matter is that if you are in the luxury market, you are not looking to recreate trends from years gone by, first and foremost.
Right.
But you're also looking to innovate at all times, which means that you're not going to recreate in general. Certainly
Right.
not something you've already done
Well,
before.
And it despite the fact that she didn't recognize this, like it's a disservice to her and it's a disservice to her guests.
Yeah.
Imagine as a guest, you have to fly all the way out to Hawaii from the East Coast. You fly all the way out there for a beautiful wedding in 2019. And then 5 years later, the same family that you were still connected to is having another wedding so far away out in Hawaii. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a commitment. That's a long time away financially, all the things. You go all the way out there and then you go to the same exact event you went to 5 years previous.
And now, for the record, we ended up servicing our wedding in a different state on the East Coast with a completely different motif, and it's currently up for consideration with Brides Magazine.
Right.
And so, like, it's just when you are garnering the content, you want to be unique and different and specific and intentional with the content you're garnering if you are luxury.
Right.
And that content needs to be of the luxury level. So you're not doing things that have been done before,
Right.
because that's not luxury content. Luxury content is consistently innovative and new.
Correct.
And from that, so if you have the content and you have the quality, then I think the third thing that adds to the persona of a luxury industry professional is the confidence. Because then you've had your experiences, you've made the mistakes, you've fixed the mistakes,
Right.
You've made the content that's great, you've made the content that totally missed the mark, you have had the excellent quality, and again, you've had the quality that was lesser than, and you learned from it, and therefore, with all of that experience under your belt, which I think does come with an essence of time.
Sure.
You don't just start your business and say, I'm luxury without any experience, just like anything else. Like you don't start a law firm and go, I am the $750 an hour lawyer because I went to law school. A lot of people went to law school, but they don't start at $750 an hour. They start at $250 an hour.
Right, or whatever.
Because they're learning and growing, and the more cases they take and the more experiences they have in the court, like that, it's gonna get them to a level of being top tier.
Right.
Same with industry professionals, I think.
Right.
Don't you
Yeah.
agree?
Oh yeah, totally. Experience is the number one teacher, right? In all industries. And so I think, that confidence comes from a place, to be clear, the confidence should come from a place of experience.
Right.
Now, there's going to be some people who are confident with none experience, and we all know people like that, but it should come from a place of experience. And if you have a wedding professional, whether it's a planner or photographer, videographer, who comes from experience, they've dealt with it.
Right.
So any issues that you're going to have on your wedding day isn't going to phase them because they've dealt with it. And so they're able to continue to deal with it for you in a way that is luxury.
And I'll tell a tale about this because I am somebody personally that tends towards elevated confidence without experience. Would we not agree? I'm like, I could totally climb that mountain without a
Choke on my wine.
mountain climbing experience. Like I will rock that experience. But like we did this in weddings too, and thank God that like this is a great team that Dani and I are, because I sold and booked a wedding for Lake Como, Italy. Having never ever done a wedding in Europe, period. Never. And I was like, absolutely, there's not a world where we can't do this. And of course, I'd had 10 years of industry experience under my belt. I've done countless destination weddings. I was very, very certain that we could do it, except for that I'd never done it before. And thank God for Dani, because after we booked it and contracted it and started planning it, she was like, woman, do we think we should maybe do one event
Maybe
in Europe
we should do
first?
a test run.
Like, would that maybe
Right.
be a good service to our clients?
Right.
And I was like, it's a great idea. Let's do that. And we did. And if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard our first experiences in Europe stories, which were horrendous and very challenging and also very successful. Both got published.
Right.
But we learned so much from those experiences that really afforded us to then provide a luxury experience to the client that actually booked us and paid for us. And then because of that, now we can confidently go in and say, yes, of course we can do. And anywhere in Europe, we're very comfortable and confident because we've had the horrific experiences.
Right.
We've figured out how to maneuver around the horrific experiences and produce a high quality event that then garnered the confidence that we
Right.
have now.
Yeah, and I also think the only thing on top of this that I would add is that I also think luxury is one of those catch-22s a little bit, in that like and wedding planning writ large, same as photography and videography and florals. Like, if you don't know all the bad things that are happening,
Right.
it people are making their jobs seem really easy. That's luxurious,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That does not mean that things have been really easy. But if they are, as the couple, you're receiving it as being, oh, everything was so smooth and easy. Amazing. No wedding is smooth and easy.
That's exactly right. Like if you are luxury, no wedding is ever going to be perfect, period, bar none, never.
Never. It's never happened.
There's
Never.
always human error. If
Never.
you are working with humans, there's human error. And
And
so,
like when you're working with humans on like such a big event with high stakes, and there are so many, especially, in this realm, whether it's luxury or ultra luxury, the amount of people that are touching your wedding is like 30, 40, 50, 60 people through the course of the planning are touching your wedding. And one cannot control 60 people to perfection. There are going to be errors. And so we have never, and as turning our own horn, very successful wedding planners, there's never been a perfect wedding
no, never, not once ever.
from our side.
But if
Right.
if our couple walks away and goes, this was the best possible experience we could ever have.
Our couple walks away saying this was the perfect day.
Correct,
This
which
was a perfect wedding.
our reviews reflect too. And so I do think there's an aspect of like, make sure you're looking at like Google reviews when you're looking for at luxury industry professionals, because they will say this was perfect, they were amazing, everything went flawlessly. That's untrue
It's
from
not
from like
true.
the back of house standpoint.
Right.
But if the couple thinks that, then you are looking at a luxury planner. If you have reviews that are like, well,
It was a really
X,
beautiful
Y,
day.
and
We had a
Z
good
went
time.
wrong, but it was fixed and blah, blah, blah. Like that could be a
Right.
really good planner, but that's not a luxury planner. That's
Right.
certainly not an ultra luxury planner.
Right.
Because the only thing the couple knows about are positive things, especially after the fact.
We had a wedding without champagne.
It did not go without champagne. It could have gone without champagne if it wasn't for us. But
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is that luxury planners are going to make things seem easy. They're going to make things seem flawless and perfect. And like, well, of course it was a luxury event because nothing went wrong. It was perfect. And that's not, I can guarantee you, every wedding that you have seen that has been posted on all of the biggest and the best, there was
things
drama
happened.
and things
Yep.
happened and the power blew and all these things that, from the outside looking in and from a guest perspective, even on the inside, a guest perspective looking in, you will never, ever, ever see.
Yeah.
And that is the level of luxury, because that is taking away any fears and any drama and any
And that
stress.
then contributes to the confidence too, right?
Right.
Because if you as a planner or an industry professional, if you experience hardships and challenges and yet you overcome them and fix them and resolve them to the point where your client feels like everything was perfect, you're then like, oh, I can do this.
Right.
Like, I know I can do this. I know that I am the executive producer that can make this appear flawless, and I can do this. And so it just boils down to when you're hearing all of this garble about like, oh, I'm a luxury photographer, I'm a luxury floral designer, I'm a luxury planner. What does that actually mean? What should you be looking for? If you are in the inquiry process, what should you actually be looking for if you're looking for the luxury experience? You should be looking at their content. You should be looking at their quality, which can be identified in a big way by publications. And you're looking at their confidence. So when you sit down with them and you talk to them, you're not talking to people that are nervous, that are like, well, we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure. Like,
Right.
If
If you ask them questions and they have confident, full answers for you, either they're Taryn, just kidding.
hey.
No. That means they know the answer because they've done this. They've
Okay.
been there and they've done this and they understand and they know, and they're not concerned about these things because they have come up 1,000 times in their career, and they've solved it every time.
So look for those qualities. Look for the content, look for the quality, and look for the confidence, because those are going to be indicative factors of a luxury industry professional. So hopefully that helps clear some things up for you. But we would love to hear your comments. If you are like, but wait, you missed something about luxury and like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Drop a note in the DMs. We will absolutely get back to you. And we love feedback. So feel free to give us all the good things.
And if you're a vendor, tell us what luxury means to you. What does it mean that when you say you provide luxury service, what does that mean to you?
Yeah. Educate us. We love that because then we're more confident.
Drinking your wine. And
I saw it. I'm
white wine.
upset. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. And until then, I hope that you have more wine than Dani because she drank hers. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions below for future podcast topics. Subscribe, like, and let us know your favorite tip from this video. Until next time, let's keep making wedding dreams come true together. Bye for now.